It's Dyer's turn to ban. Dyer should pick now. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Radiant's turn to pick.
Earth Shaker.
It's Dyer's turn to pick.
The undying waits.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Radiant's turn to pick.
Weaver.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds. Just who will die?
Anti-Mage.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds. What's Radiant's ban plan anyway? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. That's Radiant's back. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Dire should pick now.
Bristleback!
Always choose the right crew for the job.
Yeah, they do have 3 Hungarian players. I wasn't aware that it was like, are they like, is there anything official behind it, or do they just have a lot of Hungarian players? Because they do have 3 out of 5 Hungarian players. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, if it's yeah, like I know Norwegians have like Taiga as their like one competitive banner boy, I suppose, and so they all root for him. And similarly, I imagine Hungarians, they have been looking forward to have a team to root forward to. So yeah, low skill, their one position is Hungarian. Copy, who is typically their mid laner, who's going to be on the bristleback, is German. Solar and Zero, the offlane and 4 position respectively, are also Hungarian. And lastly, Filmini, who will be playing the Undying, he'll be from the Czech Republic. So it's a well-rounded mix, but definitely dominated by Hungarians. And I'm more than happy to see a competitive series, but seeing as how they're the open qualifiers and Family still did okay against Viking GG, I am expecting them to definitely be the favorites coming into this series. Oh yeah. Let me see. Okay, so Family. So Rajix and Nico, I'm pretty sure are the ones missing. I'm guessing that they're not substituting 3 out of 5, and Smiling Knight is just going by Sunlight. That would be my guess. But level 25 Earthshakers, so they definitely gave some comfort to their stand-ins. But yeah, Nikwa and Rajix,
It's an abomination.
I definitely saw their names yesterday, so I would guess that they've been subbed out. Oh, okay. Fair enough. So then... Yeah, that's... Just I mean, I almost missed this game also myself, as this was happening a lot earlier than I was expecting, compared to the other days that we've had in Pushka League. But then I looked at the other Pushka League games, and in the previous days, most of them, at least like 2 of the series have gone 2-1, and today only 1 of the series went 2-1, so... Perhaps that may be a slight reason, as this game is technically scheduled, or at least was scheduled to be like an hour and a half from now, so minor inconvenience. I'm sure families still have it under control.
Okay, Jax, battle's starting.
KSK gotten 2-0'd by, yeah, they got 2-0'd by Viking, which, I mean, it's a perfectly respectable team to go 2-0 against. I mean, 0-2 against. It's Philmini. May pay for his transgressions.
First blood!
First blood. And you had better get used to it.
That, or he may have lost vision for a moment, but gives up first blood. Technically does buy at least 1 creep and 1 deny for anti-major that the Weaver is playing, so there are worse ways to give first blood. Yeah, I don't 100% remember when the Shadow Demon was selected, but it is surprising to see Shadow Demon picked and not a more traditional stun setup. Given that he's going to be laning with the Mars, I suppose it does provide some easy setup for a spear, but typically we see, I don't know, we saw the Void Spirit be paired with it yesterday. I've mentioned previously how like the Centaur is the most common pairing, Slardar is a pretty common pairing. Can't say that I've seen the Mars all too frequently, but Mars is also a relatively irritating hero for Phantom Lancer to deal with in general, so I think they just like that draft setup. And in the other lanes, Undying, pretty solid 5 position for an anti-mage, frequent heals, and anti-mage does not have to deal with all too much lockdown in the laning phase against a Weaver. He should be able to blink out of most things that a Shaker will do. Fisher's not going to be that big of an issue. And lastly, in the mid lane, I would say that the Bristleback's probably the most strange thing, as that was KSK's last pick, and Mio's Ember Spirit was the first pick. You had all the time in the world to prepare for a mid lane Ember Spirit, and they end up opting for a Bristleback, so hopefully it does well, because again, like, as much as we were making fun of Mio yesterday, I do have confidence that he's like a very, very strong player, so giving him a playmaker like an Ember Spirit may come back to bite you if you're only answering the mid lane Bristleback.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah, and this game it's going to be definitely important. I will say that Phantom Lancer and AM probably have like relatively similar timings. Ultimately, a PL will be able to outcarry an anti-mage just because AM can't really deal with many units in a team fight situation, pick-off situation, then the anti-mage will probably have an upper hand on a Phantom Lancer. So I can see the matchup going both ways, but in terms of the playmaking potential, again, I think it's much higher on Team Family, because they do have that mobile mid. Yeah, I can't say I've ever seen this mid lane matchup, so I wasn't sure how it would go. Most melees do struggle against Bristleback, and in terms of base damage, they're basically neck and neck. Copy on Bristleback has 69, Mio has 64 at level 4. I'm not 100% earlier levels, but I mean, head-to-head, Bristleback wins most solo lanes. Wow, Anti-Mage actually gets us. Oh, and he survives. Barely. No, never. Wow, did he get a solo kill on Weaver? Because, like, Undying was pulling, and Shaker was, like, roaming mid. That's impressive.
If you're looking for Radiant's bottom tower, better hurry.
Yeah.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
Again. A feast for my beetles.
Looks like it, as well as the bounties. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
It shall not be.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Filmini opted for a point in the tombstone at all. I usually see it be saved for like after the laning phase ends, because this is not a team that needs to team fight that much. And whenever they do team fight, like either the fight is over very quickly inside of an arena and the tombstone never really gets the potential to like generate a bunch of zombies, or the team fight's moving around all over the place because your cores are an anti-mage who blinks everywhere and a Bristleback who's chasing everyone. So I'm kind of surprised that Filming does opt to skill up the tombstone so early on. Oh, he pops it again. Low blink.
Rule of haste. Flames clear the way.
That was mainly due to a fortuitous haste rune. It's possible that if he had gotten a different rune, then he would just have fewer remnant charges, but thankfully Mio only needs to spend one remnant charge, and picking off an anti-mage always value. And now Mio level 8 hasn't completed any major items yet, but I imagine once he gets his first item, he'll start trying to join up with the rest of his team and continue bullying this anti-mage who's getting really low.
Sorcery. I weave your fate.
Well, okay. He doesn't have to take a walk of shame. I'm guessing that he probably blinked or walked to the lane after the Ember Spirit killed him, so he'll be able to TP back. Yeah, 2 back-to-back deaths. That, more than slowing down the anti-mage, it's speeding up the Weaver. Weaver's now level 6 in this offlane, despite having to go against like a kind of irritating lane and giving up such an early kill as well. But now Kuropath doesn't really have to be too much concerned about this anti-mage. In fact, make go aggressive again. That's what I...
Dominate!
Here.
Thy soul's
In the boon of regeneration.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I was gonna stick to Kuro for the Weaver, but for obvious reasons, I don't really think that's fair. And then I kind of read the BLA, BL4 as like a H, I suppose. We can go with Kuro Pat. I don't know what the BL4 is about. I'll go with Kuro Pat. Fissure? Oh. Oh, they're going. Risk has shown up here now.
The earth splinters.
Yeah, and Zero on the Mars actually does not have any points in the bulwark yet, so he can't necessarily just have a free lane against Phantom Lancer, and he is going to get his bounty and scoop. 3 of the 4 look like they're going to go with the way of Dire. Oh yeah, you're right. Poor Sunlight. Sunlight got a Royal Jelly, but he's smart. This dude's a Phantom Lancer player. He did not opt to keep the Royal Jelly, as that does identify which Phantom Lancer is the real Phantom Lancer, because you're losing. So he sends back both charges back to base, which always hurts as a core player, because usually you want to give the cores the Royal Jelly so they spend less money on regen when they're farming, but can't do it on a Phantom Lancer.
About to fall. Just wait.
Since then, not as strong. The Weaver will definitely enjoy it quite a bit, and so will the Ember Spirit, so it's not like it's totally gonna go to waste. Now they're going on the Undying the bot lane.
Dire's top tower has some radiant-shaped problems. Dire's top
They're making
tower.
him work for it.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower. Those words.
I hate live.
Radiant's middle tower. Dire
Yeah,
Jax
he bought a fair amount of time, and they're actually... the siege creep does still stay alive in the process, so it does look like they should be able to successfully take this bot tier 1 tower, although they did spend the ghoul. So let's see if Kuropath is willing to tank it, or he'll use his swarm. So should be able to take the tower now, but yeah, definitely buys a whole lot of time. And I don't know, surprisingly, despite all this aggression in the bot lane, yet again, Mio is just kind of content to farming. He's completed the urn, and I would imagine that he would start hunting for some charges, but instead, he's just kind of chilling and gonna chain frost and kill the anti-mage? Wow. That is an amazing pick. How does that even happen? Did AM blink high ground to farm a camp? I think, yeah, okay, so based off of my detective work here in this jungle camp, I see a ward here, and so I'm assuming Lich came to ward. Anti-mage blinks up to the high ground, and immediately Lich is like, oh my god, there's an anti-mage right in front of me. And then he just goes out and kills him.
Dire's top tower has some radiant-shaped problems.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more than a year. It's whenever her VP at first popularity, which was maybe like 2 years ago or so, but definitely fallen off now. And even this team, I don't really see them necessarily benefiting from it that much. If they had the Bristleback on their team, then it would be amazing. But I don't know, like Ember Spirit is a hero that doesn't necessarily need the save. I guess, yeah, it seems like not that useful for Ember Spirit, who's more limited by. Yeah, he's super aggressive.
Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall?
Yeah, Bristle has the hood. It really does not have much to be done right now. Spear, disruption.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where to get charges. The Anti-Mage somehow is actually the hero with, like, the most vulnerability, which is, I guess, a little bit surprising. He has maxed out Blink, which just goes to show how his laning phase went. Is now Sunlight kind of going aggressive on Los. Maybe in a bit of trouble now. Oh, nice. Oh, the micro. Sunlight's micro is on point, so yeah, he ends up microing one of his illusions into the wall constantly as Solar now gets the Demonic Purge on Mio.
Perfect! Of course! The dust. Yeah, that shit.
And that's the Blink debut for the Earthshaker as well, so not necessarily the way he wanted to show it off. He was very close to a good Echo Slam position, but it was the Mars and and a spear on him. Wow. Yo, KSK definitely turning up the heat now. They're sick of their anti-mage. Yeah. I mean, what initially started out as a defensive play to save their anti-mage from a Phantom certain snowballed into 2 core kills. Well, actually, no, just 1. The Phantom Lancer and Spirit both made. The Weaver, the Lich, and the Shaker all ended up. And the Anti-Mage survived as well. I think he was trying to break the trees because Am like hid behind a tree and lucky has a Solar. Wow, another instance of micro from Sunlight being able to confuse this shipment.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And what? Wow, they killed the Bristleback. Wow.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it must have been Sinister Gaze forcing him to look in a certain direction because I find it very unlikely that even with 4 heroes that Bristleback dies with a hook ends up going down. It's possible that the Spirit Vessel aura is just starting to kick in general, so he doesn't even need the charges so much. Bristle's passive regen right now is 16.7 HP per second, so it's quite nice to mitigate that. Obviously, if you have the active.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That's why you'd see even Life Stealer ratings back in the day, because it's just so valuable against all these illusions. Demonic Purge is so difficult for Ember Spirit to deal with. Like, he can't activate Flame Guard because it'll get instantly purged off. Can't really escape because your remnants are super slow. It's a problem.
Jex thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. Radiant's courier is dead.
5-up does not have Slam
Radiant wants
for like another 90 seconds. Although Sunlight is here, and Chain Frost.
Dire's courier is so dead.
Great decision making by Sunlight to join this fight. I think this is definitely a strong timing for his Diffusal Blade, so this is another big reason why Radiance is just kind of value on a hero like this. But once he gets all his mana burned, he is not nearly as intimidating because he can't keep those Warpath stacks up, you can't actively cast your Quill Spray, you just have to get the passive casts, and you're just very limited by your mana pool with Diffusal Blades. But with the Radiance, you're always useful as long as you're alive. So once Copy manages to complete this item, which I imagine he's just gonna kind of stay in the jungle. Right now, Family Team are much stronger than his. But after that comes on, and with Mars completing his Blink Dagger, then things may start going KSK's way. Yeah, and it just kind of depends on the initiation and who finds who first. Because, like, if Shadow Demon ever finds Ember Spirit, then Ember Spirit's screwed. But if Phantom Lancer ever finds, like, the squishier targets like the Undying, the Anti-Mage, the Shadow Demon, then they're screwed. And even, like, Tombstone's not very useful because Phantom Lancer with his illusions will just immediately congregate on it. It's a lot of cat and mouse going on, but for right now, Family Team definitely had the advantage to see Phantom Lancer. Nothing to be concerned about, farming right in front of the Bristleback. Yeah, and Anti-Mage also has 4 deaths, whereas Phantom Lancer has 0 deaths, so it's just a product of PL basically being left alone in the lane, and starting to push things. Does they actually get a pusher and burn off all the mana on Copy? No, he was panicking. They were not expecting the Bristleback to get that low. Because, like, once all your mana gets burned as like, they find the AM. Wow. Yeah, I don't know really how that happened. Because as soon as, like, Anti-Mage, really the only thing he needs to be worried about is the Earthshaker. As long as he knows where Earthshaker is on the map, then he doesn't need to be too concerned, because Ember Spirit's slight chains, they don't last long enough to lock down an Anti-Mage fully. For Lich, more often than not, you'll be able to see him and get the counts go off if person's face stops you. But if you don't know where Shaker is, then he will emerge out of nowhere. And Ember Spirit can totally follow up on that. Now there's high ground.
Radiant's top
Copy's so
tower
close
is under
to
attack.
Radiance. Okay. Copy has now finished his Radiance. Part of the reason why I'm all for that mid lane fight is that, like, again,
Radiant's top tower?
Bristleback did not have Radiance, and I was like, you should really just jungle until he completes that lane fight. So instead, they went for a tier 2 defense, and it cost them dearly. They lost their mid laner, they lost their off laner, and they lost their anti-mage again. Man, that's the dream chain process list. You're like, I just need a little bit of extra damage on this Mars. And then all of a sudden it bounces way the hell south to hit a random Undying who was trying to join the fight and then proceeds to go into the rest of the team fight. Yeah, that was massive at his finest there. And they're going to be able to take this tier 2 tower. Even with the Radiance timing, Bristleback was not able to enter that fight really. Yeah, I'm actually very curious what 5UP is gonna choose to buy on this Earthshaker. I'd be down for like a Shadow Blade, I'd be down for Aghanim Scepter, anything to make life difficult for this anti-mage, like what he should really focus on. Yeah, anything to enable the Fencer, which I imagine is also the justification for the Aghanim Scepter, is they want this PL to get gigantic. Really, the only concern is once a bunch of quill sprays stack up, is they find Copy. Sunlight didn't even need to finish it off himself. Just sick 2 illusions on it, and then dedicated his own hero to finishing off that Undying, taking off the Shadow Demon, and oh, Anti-Mage. This is, like, I don't blame low skill at all, even though he did give up that one clumsy death in the mid lane. His lane was kind of difficult, and at this point, he can't join any team fights, so I'm not surprised that he's not defending his high ground. There's not really much you can do. Bristleback is respawning, so it's possible that low skill may be able to find some exit kills, but still, it's very, very difficult as Lancer is already left. A smooth exit. Yeah, meanwhile, Anti-Mage gets a craggy coat, which is like, I guess like a Shadow Demon will like it. The craggy coat could be pretty useful against a Phantom Lancer, but I'm pretty sure AM is like, I need an item that I can use to end this game, or at least like stall this game out. Which again, like even if it goes like late, still kind of favor Phantom Lancer.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Bid farewell to Dire's top tower.
Yeah, they don't have the Aegis anymore on the Phantom Lancer, and so they don't want to get too greedy. PL is 7-0-3 right now, so if he dies inadvertently to an anti-mage, then things could definitely start swinging the other direction. Which once upon a time you could say that, like, oh, you know, it's also good for like the HP reduction, but now after the nerf, it's pretty much just exclusive for break. Quickening charm now for 5 up. Yeah, wait, so Bristleback took the coat, which, man, you generally do not really want the coat on your cores, especially one that kind of right-clicks. Like, Bristleback's a very competent right-clicker. He has nearly 200 physical damage on his right-click, and with Warpath, you know, his attack speed, it's kind of valuable to have attack speed whenever you have Warpath. But I guess he just wants to stay alive for that Radiance for as long as possible.
Dire are
They're gonna try to make way for this outpost. Meanwhile, Dire couriers are scouting out Roche, which will respawn. The real question, I believe, is outlook looks grim. Instead, they're contesting for these bounty.
They're too scared of Radiant's top tower.
The dead.
Your son is forward to the
Challenge.
In Sunlight, she's on Mio, and Mio now has Lincoln Seer, so it's kind of easy to pop Lincoln's this game, technically, but chances are he's going to be moving around so much that Shadow Demon is going to be like, I need to get this demonic purge on him as soon as I see him. And I am guessing that's the intention for this Lincoln Sphere, just solely to mitigate that, and maybe in a potential Abyssal Blade, as Low still has completed the Basher, and he's working his way to the Abyssal. Doesn't have the gold for buyback, and this is the kind of fight that an anti-mage will have to join, because 1 rack's down, or 2 racks is down, it becomes kind of difficult at that point. Sunlight doesn't even need to burn through his Aegis, he may do it now on the copy. Still 10 seconds till the silver edge is up, so never mind, he's just coming.
Fire don't look too scared of Radiant's top tower. Radiant's top tower is
Break.
Radiant's top barracks under attack. Radiant's top barracks is falling.
Nope, they will penetrate the repair kit, finish off that second lane of racks, and no, they find the Shadow Demon. Well, unsurprisingly, I did consider them the favorites, but I did not really expect it to be that dominant. I did not expect an anti-mage to get... that was... pretty rough.